I'm not sponsored by them, but they're my besties.
Durant, I already set the focus, you silly. It's
Friday.
Hello.
It's Friday. Hi.
You gotta come be in the intro. You've gotta come be in the intro.
Yes, please.
Come do the intro. We just finished, so now we're gonna record the intro.
I love how you're speaking into the mic like she can hear.
Well, it's gonna still be on the podcast.
Oh yeah, okay, that's fair.
Wait, no, Brad, hide yourself. Brad, you've changed.
Kom sit.
Call me so.
Okay.
So, Mom, you're going to start off and say,
Sorry.
Just go.
3, 2, 1.
And welcome to the CAYACast.
Into
Yeah.
a little bit. Sorry.
Welcome to the CAYACast.
You're here listening to the CAYACast. We're joined by Hanna. We're joined by Brad's mom for the intro.
Yes.
Shout out Susie.
Shout out Susie. 021.
Durant,
Gina, Brad, me, Lorcan. On today's episode, we talk about music and stuff.
Yes.
And drink
mental
gin and
health
tonics and mental health.
Mostly the stuff. Kaylani.
Kehlani.
Kehlani.
Cake
Rocking the Daisies.
Nasty C.
Yeah.
And we spit some bars at the end. So
Yes.
stick around for that.
Wait for that.
That's-
Wait for that.
That's what
the
you need to
highlight
hear.
of the episode.
Absolutely.
Without
Enjoy
a doubt.
the episode.
I also
Bye.
I ate a whole tub of ice cream.
And there we go.
That's that.
Yay.
Mom's in the intro.
Oh my goodness.
Da, 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 da.
Okay.
Well, let's
get straight into
let's
it.
recap.
What?
We reconnected
Yeah.
at good old Nasty C's Iverson Army tour.
Yes, sir.
And
Shout
I know you
out.
have toured with Nasty C.
What?
Somewhat. Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, let's talk about yeah, I mean, for us, I mean, for me, it was a wild experience, that show.
Yeah.
It was incredible and such a privilege to be there. But I mean, as someone who has maybe, been a part of, does anyone else have a good question? I can't figure out.
Cats
how to
or
phrase
dogs,
this.
guys?
Yeah, let's start it.
I
Let's start
do.
the
I thought
debate.
you were
Okay.
Are we going back to the cats and dogs?
No,
Yeah,
we'll get into it.
we want to talk about cats versus dogs.
Are we really getting back
That's
into
a
that?
really good
Because I
movie,
have
by the way. Cats and Dogs.
Second one wasn't so good though.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I don't think I've seen
We can
it.
talk about cats and dogs another time. I really want to know how you got into the music industry. Were you just did you always
starting point.
love
Mm.
we always into music? Yeah.
I think
Tell us about that journey.
it was weird because my parents were not the most musical people. They didn't listen to music around the house. So for me, music kind of came later in life. And so I didn't actually want to do this. Still kind of don't. But that's a different story. But yeah, I didn't.
We're gonna get into
Yeah,
that.
we're gonna get into it. No, we will definitely.
Tell me more about
The
that.
further down this drink we go, I think the more honest it's gonna get. But yeah, so it became, it kind of just happened. I used to like writing verses, and I joined the UCT Hip Hop Society, which was really cool. They used to do these ciphers on campus, and I was just like, ooh, yeah, it was awesome, man.
Yeah.
Huge crowds would come around.
It
and
was
people would,
every was it Wednesdays or Thursdays?
Exactly.
Yeah, during Meridian, huge crowd.
Wednesdays.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And so I started off because my sister knew one of the heads at the time when I first joined UCT, and she's like, you should check it out. And I was like, all right, I guess. And I'd walk up there and I'd watch, the people doing their thing. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And they'd always try to get new people involved because it was always the same couple of guys just freestyling and rapping and stuff. Every now and then one person would be like, I'll do something. And so
spoken word poetry.
Yeah, exactly. Spoken word poetry. You could do whatever you wanted. And I eventually, after a couple of weeks, I was like, I want to try something.
You were that person.
I was that person.
Yeah.
And I did it and they liked it. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And so actually they were supposed to do a mixtape and we planned this whole thing. We got beats together and we're going to write verses and come up with songs. And I wrote this verse and then I guess planning fell through and it didn't happen. And so I had this verse and I was like, I really like this. I'm going to record myself and I'm just going to put it on Instagram. And I did it and I put it on Twitter because I was new to Twitter as well. And I was like, yeah, Twitter's so cool.
Shout out Twitter.
Shout out Twitter. Twitter's actually the one that did it for me. I went to bed. I came back. Next day I woke up. I was late for one of my tuts and I'm in my tut and people are just like, did you see? And I'm like,
What?
Did I see what? They're like, go to your Instagram. Go to my Instagram. I don't know how this happened because I didn't tag anyone or ask people to do anything. And Nasty C commented on the video and he's like, this is really hard. And I was like, what? That is so cool. And then I go to Twitter.
That's a good reception for your first rap video.
Yeah,
I
that's
know,
what you-
right?
okay.
That was really crazy. And I was like, this doesn't seem real. what are the chances that I was just putting this out there and then it gets this response?
Yeah,
and
just
then I was
on
like,
a whim.
right? And so I started doing the videos more, and then they were doing really well. And then I posted another video on Twitter, I think the same one. And that one just started going viral. Like it started getting like 100,000 views, and like it was just going, and I was just like, what is going on? I don't understand.
I think it just speaks to your talent, to be honest.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think it
Meant to
was,
happen.
and so yeah, after that I was like, okay, this is like a sign. Like I can't not, like capitalize on this opportunity. Like people, I mean, how many people try and do this for so long, and like, it just felt like a divine intervention kind of moment. And I was like, okay, maybe someone's trying to tell me something up there. I guess I should go for it.
Like-
Hannah didn't want to be in the music industry.
I
The
was
music industry
really-
wanted Hannah.
Hey,
You missed the chance to say
real facts.
Hannah didn't want to be in the music industry. The music industry wanted her and her. It in her and it.
Did I miss an opportunity?
Lorcan tried to
I
make
also-
a cis joke and it didn't work.
I also missed the opportunity, unfortunately.
Logan's mind is a little bit too much on his yogurt.
That's not yogurt.
What is it?
Ice cream.
It smells really
Oh,
good.
Are you just
He's
out
just
here
chowing
eating
ice cream on the
ice cream?
podcast.
Yeah, man. Napolitana.
Back
Shout
it,
out
I'll
Lenny
back
Balls.
Free promo.
When was that? Like,
That was like 20. When was that? 2018, 2017? Maybe like end of 2017, beginning of 2018. Because that's when in 2018 I was like, oh, I want to start making music.
Nice.
And then I had a friend who was like really into production from Zim who came to stay with me. And he downloaded FL on my laptop and he was using it because he was crashing with me. And I was just like, this is interesting. I wonder how this works. And I started playing around and I would like watch him make beats. And I started trying to like make beats for myself. And I was like, ooh, I can write lyrics to this stuff. I want to make a song. And I just remember like missing so many tuts to go to the studio. And I was so excited. And, in the long run, it didn't work out that great on the school side. But then, yeah, it was cool.
on the flip side, you have performed all over the country, and your songs you've written
Found
with some of the
international
biggest
fame.
people in the country.
Thank
and
you. Yeah.
So I mean, on the music side, it's paid off.
Yeah,
you know
maybe
what
a little
I'm
bit.
saying?
Yeah,
And
definitely.
That leads sort of to my next question, which is, what was the sort of transitionary phase like? Because there's that sudden, like, as you said, it's overnight.
Yeah.
You are the one day, and the next day everyone knows you.
Exactly.
What is it? What's the following like 1 to 3 months? Like, what's that like adjusting to that level of sort of fame, adoration, and scrutiny?
It was weird for me because it just felt like it happened. It wasn't the plan at all. So it just kind of just happened. And I mean, because a lot of my followers and communities like UCT based and I'm always on campus, it kind of became like a UCT thing as well. And I just found myself I mean, it's weird to say it, like looking back on it now, because I feel like that was kind of small in comparison to what like was coming later. And I guess in retrospect, it didn't feel like too much of an adjustment, because also people can be kind of weird, like it's not like people were coming up to me like, Hanna, oh my God. But like, they just kind of like stare at me. And then like 4 hours later, they'd be like, and then they like leave, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like that's pretty chill,
Thank
you know.
4 hours
Yeah.
of stress trying to figure out what this person is looking at.
you
me
wanna
about.
kill me or
Just like
compliment
looking at
you?
me and looking at their
Yeah.
phone and looking at me, and they're like, oh my God, I have a hilarious story. So
Get into it
Please.
quickly, Dury, can you turn up channels 2 and 3 on the interface? Because it's easier for
Okay.
you to
limbo.
get there. Thanks, homie.
How low can you go?
So when I posted that video on Twitter,
Thank you.
you know how you can have like a display name on Twitter? You've got your handle and then you've got your display name. And so, long story short, you know how Cape Town slang, you know what a Popeye is? Have you heard of that word? I don't know if it's a
Yeah.
Cape Town thing.
I've heard of it. I don't know the full context.
Might
but
be a
yeah.
Okay.
People might
Like,
not.
man's
So
like
Okay,
man's
I'll
like a-
explain it.
you're
So
like a Popeye
basically,
like
it's
that.
like somebody who's like people take advantage of. Like you're just like a doormat, basically. So like 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 a clown. Like the
Yeah.
clown memes we'd have like you're a clown, taking off your clown wig and all of that. So I'd had a couple of like Popeye moments with like relationships, and so my friends started calling me Little Spinach, right? So they started calling me Little Spinach, and then I had
That's
and then
hilarious.
at some point, I was just like, you know what? I need to switch the narrative. And then they started calling me Big Spinach. So I made my Twitter display name Big Spinach, and when I posted the video, that's what my name was.
Amazing.
And right, and then I was on Long Street with friends, and we went to the McDonald's. And this was like peak
Yeah.
hour. There's everyone
Shout
in
out
there.
the Long Street McDonald's.
Yo.
Is it Long Street or is it Cliff Street? will we ever know?
Yeah,
It's long.
That's long.
It's long.
Street. You come to it from Long Street.
Exactly.
You can also enter through Cliff Street though.
Yeah,
You
but
can, but it's more like.
SARS LMAO.
But yeah, so I'm standing there with my friends in the line. Like I think we just paid or we're waiting to go and order, and there's this dude and he's just looking at me, and I'm like,
Is this after a night out?
yeah, after a night out.
Okay.
So like we're kind of lit. Everyone is just
Yeah.
like trying to get their food and go home. And this dude, he's like looking at me and he's whispering to his friends. He pulls out his phone. He's like arguing with people, and I was just like, okay, I don't know what's happening, but like who knows? And then he comes up to me and he's like, sorry, excuse me, are you Big Spinach? And like it was the most funny thing because I'm like, that's me.
That's me.
And
Big
yeah,
Spinach.
I learned my lesson. From then I was like, okay, you need to have the right display name. 'Cause
Yeah.
people will just remember whatever they see associated with you at that time.
on that,
Mm.
tell people. Hey, firstly, like shout yourself out on Instagram.
Big
Thank you.
Not Big
What,
Spinach.
where do people find you on Instagram?
So I have the same handle across all platforms.
Perfect.
It's the real niggist. Yeah, so TheRealNigist.
So go follow Hannah on everything. I just thought that was a amazing interlude into getting you to shout yourself out.
Thank you.
Promo.
But yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It was a good lead. You have, correct me if I'm wrong. Did you feature on a song with Nasty C?
Yeah,
You did.
I did.
Did you write it with him? What was that process like? How did
So-
that work? How did that happen?
This is basically a result of like Lift As You Rise. So Lift As You Rise was a Red Bull and Tolrax, which is Nasty's label, like collaboration. And they were like, okay, we want to do a talent search across Africa for cool artists. But instead of just like telling people to like post a video of them doing something, we're going to make songs, leave an open verse, and then you guys get to come and like just fill it, like do a feature. What would it sound like if you were on the song? So that's what happened. I entered that competition. I won. Super
Nice.
cool, crazy. I can't believe it actually happened because I really didn't think it was going to happen when I did it. And then, yeah, so that's the song. We ended up going into studio at Red Bull.
I think I saw it
R.I.P..
on Twitter.
R.I.P.
R.I.P..
Yeah.
RIP Red Bull Studios.
Now Float Apparel, if I'm not mistaken.
No.
Is it?
Because it was up
No,
here.
it was more
Like
down.
next to Burger and Lobster.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
right next door.
more down.
There was a Red Bull studio.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
no,
that's the same
no.
block. Like,
No,
so
I
it
think it
must
might have
be
been.
the same
Oh,
place.
yeah,
Mm.
might have been.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
So that's how it happened.
On labels, are
Mm.
you signed to a label? Have you had experience with labels? What's your experience
Have you
been
been
like
approached?
with labels in South Africa?
I've been approached.
You don't have to
Yeah.
say any names. You can
I
what you
won't say
want.
names.
Or
I've been
do.
approached by like a major label, but it was kind of one of those, like our urban, hate that word, our urban, division just wants to like scout you out, come over to Joburg, let's talk, let's see what you're about. Right now, I always struggle to like figure out like if they are classified as a label, but I'm signed to Platoon.
Okay.
And so Platoon is like a distribution
Yeah.
label,
Yeah.
like
kind of
mesh.
PR built in.
Yeah, but they're more like
Yeah.
independent
Yeah.
driven. Like it's
Yeah.
for independent artists. So
Yeah.
it's they just like a distributor that does like label stuff
Mm.
as well, which is really cool. Shout out Platoon. I love them. They're so cool.
Shout out Will Lindley for the gin.
Platoon or with isn't Elo under? I mean, not Elo.
No.
Did
Kudu.
yes.
Kudu was
Yeah.
I actually
like
met
an imprint of Platoon or something.
I think it
They worked with him. I know that much. I think.
yeah, he actually works for Platoon. So he's like we actually met doing some show for LOLO. I think that might
Danilo.
Danilo,
Yeah,
yeah.
Danilo.
He
Yeah.
so now he worked. I don't know if it was. It's crazy because my first meeting with Platoon was I was with my manager, and as we walked out, he was having the next meeting with them,
Mm.
and it was like not the Spider-Man meme, but it was like, hey, and he's like, hey, and we're like, okay, and we just left. And then now he's like part of the Platoon team. He's awesome as well. So yeah, I don't know if they worked together before or he like just started working for them after. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh.
Kudu were doing some very cool stuff. As
They were
well.
cool.
Also,
Yeah.
like independent artists, which
Yeah.
yeah, like what I love about Platoon is that it does give like access to a lot of the functionality of a label
Exactly.
without quite as many of the like label politics
Yeah.
as getting. What would you say as someone who's risen quite significantly in the music industry to someone who is looking to make music into their career? What would your advice be?
And one addition to this,
Mm-hmm.
what is one secret that you found from growing as a creative to sort of that
Damn, that's-
international platform?
That's tough. Like again, like I said, it wasn't. I think the most difficult part is that like initial like big recognition that you get, and for me, it kind of just happened. I don't want to say that there was no method to the madness. I mean, I think social media was working in my favor at the time. It was also a time when like social media was like, and this was like 2017, 2018, there was a lot of people trying to put stuff up, and like also there weren't that many newcomers really trying to do a lot, especially in the hip hop scene, if I'm not mistaken, like at least from my perspective. Maybe I just wasn't tapped in like that. But yeah, well, what was your question again? Because I just remember.
Sorry, my bad.
I mean, just like, what would your advice be to someone looking to, break into the music industry?
I think my advice would be,
or like the biggest lesson you've learned is maybe another way of phrasing it.
The biggest lesson I've learned is that there is no blueprint. Like everyone is different, and I've noticed that trying to make what worked for someone else work for you doesn't always go your way, especially like musically, because I feel like ultimately the product is, like the most important thing at the end of the day. Like all the other business stuff can come eventually, but ultimately, like if your product's not good, you're just not going to get anywhere. And I think I found myself trying to figure out like what people wanted, or like what are they doing that might be like making them more successful, and like what do they sound like. And I just realized like there was a Nasty C line that he said that I really resonated with, when he's like, there's a paraphrasing, he's like, all of these little kids are trying to follow us, follow your gut. Like he's like, that's my advice to you. Like instead of trying to follow us, follow your gut. And I think that worked for me, because cool. I didn't even know that I was doing it, but I was just doing my own thing, and it worked. It wasn't by any means something that I think anyone even knew there was like a gap for, or like anyone really felt like, it wasn't like I was trying to fit or like trying to do something specific. I was just kind of being myself, and it worked. So it may not be like the most useful thing to hear, but honestly it's going to bring you the most peace in the future.
I think that's very valuable, because like whatever you do, whatever it is that your output is, be it music, be it writing, be it painting, photography, design, whatever you do will be appreciated by someone. And if the people around you don't appreciate it, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. It just means that the wrong people are seeing it or hearing it or interacting with it. And it's about, as you said, trusting your gut and believing in what you do. Yeah. Because eventually it could be a day, it could be a month, it could be a year. Someone will fuck with what you do, and they'll put you on. It's
about finding your people.
It isn't that easy, but it can be. So keep believing in yourself, because
I think it's more sustainable that way as well. Because honestly, it's so cliche, but like, trying to fit in is very like, it's not something that like is guaranteed to work like long term. Do you know what I mean? And it's true. You're gonna find fans that are actually like genuinely get you and genuinely mess with what you're doing. And those are the people that are going to stick around. Like everyone else is going to be like, oh, I like that one song. You stopped doing what I liked. Never mind, I'm out. And then there are people that are actually going to be like, oh, wow, there's something about you that's like, will transcend that. And they mess with that. And that's who you want to find. Because having ghost followers and people who just like this one little facet of you, it's not going to translate into actual like streams or actual sales. Like you want to be able to be like, this is a reflection of like how my music is affecting people, and be like, this is direct, like, I know that I can go to this place and I'm going to sell these tickets and these people are going to come. Versus just like having people who like, I don't know, they're just like ghost fans who are just kind of there but not really.
And those like real fans, like as you like, and every musician and artist, like, because I'm a big fan of music, and everybody does that. It's like as they grow, and as like, because even a year is a long time. 2 years.
Lot can happen in a year.
So, and it's like your musical style will change, but it's those real people who grow with you as you grow in music.
I totally spilled my drink. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I finished my ice cream.
Do you want a
I think I'm going to need to stand up, because I'm totally...
Do it.
This is like pissed my pants.
Lorcan's going to go get a
diaper?
Wipe of some description. There should be
Just use Brad's jersey right there. But we should keep all of us in the podcast.
Dude,
I think this is
Mom knitted that jersey. You can't touch that jersey. That's my favorite thing.
Sure. This is a moment
the blue
to
one?
say like, I think I'm officially a lightweight. because I'm like, okay, I'm actually at the bottom. This might be strong. It's
I
just
told
like,
it is strong.
I
in fact,
I don't
like,
think-
While we're at it, can you?
Yeah, I don't think it's strong.
Wait.
are you?
Oh, and I did a fiddle.
This is a reel
Okay.
that is going flying.
Anna did a fiddle.
The podcast and just add subtitles.
Hannah, you can just sit slightly closer to Lorcan and I'll move your mic.
Guys, I finished a fucking
Do you
tub
need-
of ice cream.
Do you need more?
I'll get you another.
Do you need a new pad?
I think this is brilliant
might actually
podcasting
have.
content.
yeah.
So funny. I didn't realize what happened until it started spreading.
Oh.
I was trying to listen to what you were saying.
Like, oh fuck.
Oh gosh.
Oh
I need
fuck.
Like
I
my.
wanted to say there was like a little bit of worry in your eye.
Everything is not okay.
Did I say something?
Do it like a child in trouble. Hold on.
I have more towels.
Thank you.
What else can I help with?
Can I sit on this?
Yeah. Just
Grab a
It's gonna like dry
make
my
yourself a
butt.
stack of towels.
I'm glad we took a break though because I was just getting the giggles, like laughing at everything Lorcan's doing. He's just there with his ice cream, like,
I finished
Here's another towel if you want another towel.
yeah, that's a
No,
good
I want
towel.
thicker.
Anyway,
My ass is like so red right now.
Full tub of ice cream.
And not in the good way, guys. It's just like it's the material of my pants as well. It just, you know, it's kind of like the like rolls off,
Yes.
Soaks everything.
and then eventually it was like nah.
yes.
It was just like
Okay, but this is all being cut so I can have a quick.
No, it's not.
No, part of this will be.
I'll cut you.
it feels like comedy.
Actually, I don't even think my parents watch this one, so.
Dory's
So
not doing
cold.
anything illicit.
So cold.
Got him.
It's not cigarettes.
Oh
Okay.
Tag me in
gosh,
this
what
one.
Can
were
we?
you
Can we
saying?
lift this up a bit?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
make it all taller.
I'll cut to this camera angle.
Was that fine?
While you have a
That's
hit of your vape, I'll cut to this camera angle.
I would love you.
Okay.
Are we back?
Lorcan's actually
put it on
gonna
slightly,
zoom
like-
into
yeah.
the
Duh.
Yay!
Do I? No.
What's the time on the recording there?
How long has it been recording?
Yeah.
I should
Spider
totally
walk.
have put it on the TV
24
again.
minutes.
Spider crawl.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no, that's good.
We're moving nicely. That's
How long do they normally run for?
2 hours of recording time and 3 bars.
we're not going that long.
You spend like 15 minutes for like 40 minutes.
Yeah, it tends to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
like halfway ish.
Cool.
We were recording for a bit.
What I'm really interested in with talking to people, particularly people who have, fame's a weird word or whatever, but like some, an influence of at scale.
A
Yeah.
I
following.
think is a following. Yeah.
Wow, that's a way to put it. An influence at scale.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
I love that.
Many eyes, many ears.
What? How does that make you feel? Like, what does that, how does that impact your mental health? Because I think this is the shit that people need to
Yeah.
understand. Because often people think, if you've got any semblance of fame or whatever, like your life is just doozy and
Yeah.
everything is cool, and that's just not true. But like,
Absolutely.
without getting necessarily too deep, unless you want to get deep, this is a safe space. It's up to you.
Okay.
But like, yeah, people need to know, especially people who want to maybe get into this, like
Yeah.
the other side of it.
I think there's obviously two sides. The one side is great. I think it's also just nice, and like I've been getting into a lot of these conversations with like other creatives about like, what do you want to feel like when you what do you want to feel through your success? Like what's the feeling that you want to get? And like getting into like taboo desires and stuff. And to me, it's something that I actually realize and is that it's really nice to like feel wanted. Like, you know what I mean? Like people don't talk about that enough, but it's true. It's nice to feel like sought after and wanted in that way, and people really care about what you're doing, and that's great. Like it makes you feel important, makes you feel special. And on the other end, I feel like people there are no boundaries when it comes to people who I guess have a following. I feel like because like one facet is public or is like drawing people in, and like I think of it like having a space and like, oh, everybody wants to see what's going on there. So they come into your space and it's just like all of these people, but it's still your space at the end of the day. And like, there still should be rules. Like this is still my space, and you're here for something that at the end of the day, it's a service. It's like I'm giving you something, and you're giving me something in return. Like it's not like, you know, it's support, and then there's it's not like I'm not giving you anything to support at the end of the day. And so yeah, I feel like that whole angle of like, oh, you should have known, like this is what you signed up for, when people will just lack boundaries in terms of how they view you and how they interact with you. I've had lots of interactions with people, and I'd like to think I'm pretty nice to everyone who comes up to me, but people just have no sense of like, you know,
boundaries.
Yeah, like they just, you know, people are like super physical. People like grab you. People will just like, I don't know, it's crazy. I've actually experienced some crazy things, and I'm not even like that. Oh,
go on then.
How much time do we have?
Yeah, no, I don't know if you want to get into all that, but like, yeah, no, just people just being like, not respecting physical boundaries and personal space. And especially when people are drunk, it's even worse because they're spitting in your face, and you're just like, oh yeah, I love you. Oh, I'm gonna take my. Oh, you'd be surprised. Like people are crazy, and yeah.
Does that like get worse at your shows? Because obviously, then like they are like there for you. They obviously like you to some extent, like
or don't.
Yeah, I guess so.
Your haters
people,
are your biggest
people
fans.
only dislike you online, and I always say this because I remember I was writing this word, and I was just like this verse, and like I was talking about how like, you hate me online, but in person you're my biggest fan. People just want to meet people that are famous and they think are popular. Yeah. I've had people who come up to me that are like, I know you do something, but I don't actually know what it is. And like that's just the vibe, and they're just like, I know you're someone that I should know maybe, but like I don't know what it is, I don't know what you do, but like let's take a picture just in case you're like, you know, worth remembering.
It's
calling you out.
Weird.
It is, and like I feel like I should start giving pop quizzes like, what's my name? Like let's start there.
At bare minimum.
Bare minimum.
And not Instagram name.
Yes.
That's my real name.
Exactly.
Because otherwise people just see you tagged, and then that's, you know, it's not.
You'd be surprised. Like people just come up to me, and then now it becomes my job to like explain to them like what I do. They're like, do you do something, like, are you on like, do you do something on Instagram?
So it becomes like X
and I have to be like,
something.
oh yeah, I do. And they're like, what do you do? What's your name? Like, and I'm just like, we can have this conversation. It's cool. But at some point it's just like,
but it's also like if someone met you
and
and,
like,
and they were
nice
like,
to meet
oh,
you.
what do you do?
What do you do?
That's a very different
Yeah.
conversation.
Exactly.
Someone going, I recognize you. I think you've got clout, and I want to take a photo, but I want to just figure out like what
it
deal
is.
What kind of
first.
clout?
Yeah.
I'm just like,
selective.
You should start just giving like
with
really
which friend should I share this with?
really like obscure things
share
that you
sheep.
don't do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and see if they call
wash
you out, and they
cars.
go, nah, it's not that. And then
whenever
you go,
people
okay,
ask
we can
me
take a photo.
like, do you like, okay, I mean, this is different because like people actually know, and I get it. Sometimes you see people online, you see pictures, people are like, you know, different in person, so they'll be like, is that really you? Like maybe it's not you, and they maybe too shy to like ask, are you this person? You're like, sorry, do you make music by any chance? And then you're like, okay, yes I do. That's different. At least you have some general idea of maybe what I do.
You're scared to like,
Yeah,
for it to be the
absolutely.
wrong person. That's more understandable.
Yeah.
I can get behind that. Social awkwardness is a thing.
It is.
But if you're just like, nah, I know that face, or they've got a blue tick, or I'm gonna go and quiz them on what they do before I get a picture with them.
It really does happen.
It's something people don't like acknowledge
it's
enough.
not
Like everybody is a human being, and just because someone's famous doesn't mean they're or has any level of platform or recognition. Like
Clout.
people want to be talked to the same way. Like,
Exactly.
Talk to me nice, or don't talk to me at all.
Who was I talking to the other day? Who like, because like you can, how you interact with someone after a show is so like can make all the difference and can make you stand out. So like if you just go up to someone and you're like, hey man, like I really fuck with what you do. I really respect you. Like thank you for, like that person is gonna feel really seen and heard and appreciated. Whereas I feel like they're like, oh my God, I'm a fuck off now. Like it's very like
ass.
Like it's very much like commoditizing a person.
Exactly.
Like making them a consumable in terms of like, oh cool, I came, I watched the show, got the photo, like tick, and that person like, you know.
Absolutely. I have this line in one of the songs that I'm gonna be dropping soon, and the line goes, the hook, it's part of the hook. The hook goes, if it's blue or it's green, I'ma pocket that. I'm gonna need my Benz, my Divas, and all the other racks. And then the second line goes, real niggas never ask for autographs. we just want to honor cats. No, real niggas never ask for autographs or even for follow backs. We just want to honor cats. And I was just like, you know, real fans want to honor the people that they mess with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, I get it, because maybe I view things slightly differently, that I am having similar interactions with people. But like, I know that, you know, if I was to meet someone that I really look up to, like, yeah, it would be, yeah.
When you were like, I think I was having this conversation the other day. I think it was us upstairs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, see, that's a different story. That one is a matter of the heart, guys. But like with just people that I look up to, I'm just like, you know, the picture is cool and all of that, and I've also memory. Yeah, it's a memory, and like you wanna have like a memento of this moment. You wanna look back. I guarantee all the people I've taken photos with have never looked back on them. It's actually a thing. Because I think about all of the moments that I'm like, I'm trying to capture this moment, and I never look back at them. You know what I mean? So who knows, you might, but like ultimately, I just feel like the primary like intention would be to be like, I really like what you do is really cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then everything should be secondary, but it feels the reverse.
A good example of this, sorry, I want to let you ask you a question in a second, Brad, but a good example of this would be the Nasty C concert. So we were there, and obviously I was there shooting with the lovely Kaya team.
Your camera.
With my camera.
His first
is that the team?
That is the
camera.
Yeah, camera. Me and the camera. But obviously Nasty C is in the sort of green room area where I'm shooting. So I'm like 10 feet away from Nasty C, who I've listened to since high school. Like arguably the biggest South African rapper out there, arguably. And I didn't feel any need to go and get a photo with him. Like I didn't feel like, okay, I've got to get my selfie with Nasty C, or I've got to get like a photo with him. But there's someone else's selfies with Nasty C in my phone, because they asked to borrow my phone.
Yo, I need to use your phone. Do you have an iPhone 13? That one. Come in. Please.
But like and I think that's such a beautiful example of it, because I'm very happy with those selfies on my phone because it's a memory of someone representing me.
I understand.
Like, and it's a funnier story than like I got a selfie with Nasty. Oh, there's someone else. Someone else got a selfie with Nasty C on my phone.
I mean, it's also easier because you got like literally like 2,000.
I did not know.
That you personally
that
took.
I personally took. Well, mostly my beautiful girlfriend Georgia, but shout out Georgia. But yeah, lots of footage, lots of photos, lots of memories.
Yeah, and I mean like.
And I was there at the after party.
Yeah, like I went to his show the next night afterwards at IEPIP, just because I wanted to actually watch the show instead of being on production.
Exactly.
It's completely different. Like I'm gonna go and listen back to this podcast because being like here is completely different.
Exactly.
Like hearing it every time we've done this, I'll go and listen back and I'm like,
that's
happened?
such a good point.
Well said.
But like I chatted to him afterwards as he was leaving, and just like for me, like I didn't take a photo with him. He was as he was walking out, but like I got to actually have a conversation and just say like, thank you, like that was really incredible. It was a real privilege to be there. So
absolutely,
thank you. And like that for me means more than, I mean, if I got a photo on top of it, sure, that would have been cool. But that's a cooler memory than, because like you get to connect with, you get to talk to people as human beings and like get a bit more insight into who they are, not like on stage as, you know.
And asking for a photo is not a conversation.
Exactly. And that's the problem. That's where it starts and ends. It's like, can I take a photo? Cool. Thank you. Bye. I'm out. There's no like memory to attach it to. The memory is the photo. You know what I mean? Versus like having a conversation and being like, oh my gosh, can we take a photo? And now you're like, okay, when I see this photo, I think of that conversation. But a lot of the times it's just like, let's just do the photo and the rest can fly.
Yeah. Like make it more memorable. Make it, because also they're going to remember it more.
Exactly.
If you go up to an artist or someone you look up to and you're like, hey, like my name is so-and-so, you've inspired me to do this. I really like what you do. Like it reminds me, like just be more personable with them. Like have an interaction. Not like they're not a robot.
Absolutely.
They're not a landmark. They're a person.
I mean,
in
a personal capacity, when I was performing back in my youth.
Back in your heyday.
Back in your youth.
I was about to ask you about this.
When it was black and white,
When I was performing, like, you know, like, and it's also like an entirely different scene, like the rock and roll scene and the hip hop scene and everything. But like a lot of it translates. Like you'll get guys who think that like they are, you know, too cool to like appreciate.
Same thing.
Oh, that was Chris.
That was really.
You get people who are like they feel like they're too cool to like really like acknowledge, so they'll just be like success, you know, and it's like
Yeah, I danced.
you paid tickets to come see me, and you're just like yeah, success, okay,
So-
yeah, whatever. But then the interactions I really enjoyed with most, and this is purely because of personal reasons, was like the people was like, that was awesome. Can I buy you a shot? And I feel like,
Personal reasons.
and I feel like
This is not a cry for help.
that has to be like more common. I don't know. Like that's like because like yes, you're paying tickets to see the show, and yes, you enjoyed the show. But it's like it's also like, what more can I offer you to show my gratitude?
Exactly.
I know, but I get what you're saying. I was actually going to talk about. I was going to like get like that. It's actually giving a token of your appreciation, and whether it's a shot or not, maybe it doesn't have to be the only option. But like that, you're actually acknowledging to them, hey, like,
Blunt also works.
thank you. Can I offer you as a way of saying thank you? You know, you don't have to, obviously, but instead of like, oh, I watched this person have an amazing performance, let me go get something else out of them for me. Like, people are people, man.
I feel like this also just goes back to the idea of like, I think a lot of people that support artists, and it's amazing. Support literally makes or breaks a career. You know, it can change someone's life. You know, the fact that people listen to them. But also, it's also important to understand that, you know, there's a reason that you listen to them. You're not just listening to them out of the goodness of your heart. Like they're taking time to put time into a craft and like perfect it so that you can enjoy it and consume it. It's entertainment as a service. You know what I mean? And I think people always think that like they're doing you a favor by like supporting you, and like you, in some ways they are, but like it's not as like one-sided as people think it is. And I think therefore people feel really entitled to like a lot of things.
But also, if you're supporting someone with the motive of like, I'm doing something for this person, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. If you're supporting someone, you're doing it for yourself because you enjoy what they do, and you get enjoyment, pleasure, sadness, bliss, whatever it is.
All I think about is what I can give Kehlani. I've never thought about what can I'm like, what can I do for you? You wanna? I'll empty out my savings.
Get R-rated.
Tell us more about that.
You know, it's interesting because I feel like my relationship with Kehlani and her music also taught me a lot just about the industry and social media and how we view celebrities. So a lot of people don't know this, but I actually used to hate Kehlani for absolutely no reason based on social media. So I was a huge basketball fan. I used to like love Kyrie Irving. And I, through like the grapevine, and of course, like who am I? Literally, I'm like a continent away from you. I have no idea what the hell is going on in your situation. Hear through the grapevine that this is basically what happened. I'm like, oh, she did him dirty. Not even the real story, by the way. And I'm like, I don't even like this person. I'd never seen her before. Never knew what she looked like. Never heard any of her music. I just knew she existed. And I was like,
hating.
Yeah.
And then I started listening to her music. And then I was like,
actually.
And then I just fell head over heels in love with what she does. And it was also really cool for me, I think, because it, you know, also introduced just a different dimension into music for me. I used to always be like hardcore rap, J. Cole, like, you know, no melodies. And then I started listening to Kehlani. I was like, I actually want to sing, you know, like that's cool. To me, you're doing something that's like, that's what I want to put that into my music. So yeah, I mean, I think it's deeper than just, you know, obviously.
Hey.
But it's also just, you know, I feel like I learned a lot. And I learned like a really valuable lesson. Like, what was I doing? Like, I was being a hater. And like, I was like deep within,
real extra.
I was about the hater lifestyle at that time. And I'm just like, damn, it's crazy to me. This is like my biggest influence now. And like,
well,
damn.
We're posting that clip and getting everyone to tag Kehlani.
See, that's not. Do you guys know that there was a clip of me talking about Kehlani that went viral?
Really?
Nice.
Yeah, I was literally. I don't want this one to go viral, guys. I don't want her to know that. But like,
I genuinely think that would be the kind of clip where she'd go, "Huh, I respect that," and actually like, because that's real. Like,
that's human.
Yeah.
Because it's not you being.
Because we go way back with Kalani.
Like,
absolutely.
You know, and that's a legit thing. And the fact that, you know, there's been a journey, that's a journey in a relationship with an artist. Like, that happens. And it's cool when that happens, and
Story arc.
and it's not the normal way that any other of her fans, are gonna have gotten into her music. And
Absolutely.
so that's cool. That's unique.
Thank
That's
you.
Different. So,
I okay.
and it's real. Like that's
It is.
That's what you tell an artist when you meet them. This is how I ended up.
I used to hate
I
you.
used to hate you.
Bruh, they'd listen.
Yeah.
They would listen to
Yeah,
what you have to
it's
say
probably,
after
eh?
that.
It's
and then
crazy.
I liked you.
Isn't Kehlani coming to Daisy?
Yes, very much so.
So
Are you ready?
the
Are you
real-
ready?
I'm
the
not.
real
I'll do
question
some
is-
personal training.
the
I-
real
I do
question
need it,
Is
yeah.
Anna, are you going to?
I will definitely be at Daisy's.
But are you performing? Maybe not.
Maybe you'll see. Maybe I don't know. You
There's
see.
some
We'll
conversations.
have to
happening.
see. We'll have to
It's
see.
level.
Contracts,
Just pull up and find out.
Door with some people in Kluven.
Pull up and find out. But yeah,
Hannah sure as shit hopes she's performing.
guys, I was like, I really,
Me too.
yeah, same.
Come hell.
I needed time to like process that announcement, and it's funny because everyone, including the Daisy's team, was like, "Are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you alright? Like, we need to check on Hannah." Someone sent an ambulance. Like, it was so funny because I feel like in many ways it became about me, and I was like,
Yeah.
I hope she sees this because she needs to know.
Oh, this
'Cause
has
I've-
got to become a social media movement. Get Hannah.
It
to
has
Daisy.
to, because I've tweeted so many times. I know most of the people in the music industry here in some way or through someone, and I'm just like, one thing everyone knows, and it's crazy. Like, some people I didn't even think knew me or like anything like that. Like, associate me with my like insane love for Kehlani.
Oh,
Like, some
Kehlani
people
girl.
were just like, yeah, no. Like, really big artists would be like, are you excited about Kehlani coming to Daisy's? And I'm like, I didn't even know you knew that. But like, yeah. So I literally tweeted like, if you guys do not get me in the same room with Kehlani, you failed me, and I'm gonna start like, how can that happen? Because when people come to a different country, like, they're gonna have somebody who's like, pointing them in the right direction. Like, okay, these are the people you should hang with. Meet up with these people. I
You're
literally,
gonna need a tour guide.
We should-
like a guide to
You know what I'm
Cape
saying?
Town,
We
South
should
African music.
add fire to the flame and just make
Yeah.
the title of the podcast like "Get Hannah to Daisy's."
Get
Meet Kehlani.
Get Hannah
Yes.
to
Kehlani's
Kehlani,
tour
that's the
I would love
name of
I
the
would
tour.
love that.
Podcast sorted.
I'm totally gonna go to the
Exactly.
Joburg version as well, because I'm just like, I'd like to watch
in
twice.
the city.
You're gonna leave
they
Daisy,
happen-
fly up to Joburg, catch them on
Absolutely,
the other
I would
side.
wanna, guys.
Follow
There's,
her, fly with her.
Yeah.
PJ.
see what I'm saying?
We're
See what I'm saying?
You know what? We're
And take
speaking
us
it- we're
with.
speaking it into existence. We're manifesting.
Positive.
You see, but then
energy.
that's one side of it. But the other side is like, I genuinely do not, I cannot predict what is going to happen when that moment actually comes. I may faint, I may scream, I may have I don't even know. I could just start seizing. I don't know. Something,
I don't know if you've seen Community, the series.
I've watched a little bit of it, but not
There's
enough.
There's one episode where Childish Gambino, Donald Glover's character, meets his childhood hero, who he's like idolized, but he's obviously idolized the sort of on-screen version,
Yeah.
the version
Yeah,
of
from
him,
the
and he meets
TV
him in person,
show.
and he's just this regular, really nice guy, and he just freezes, and he just stares at him like this the whole episode.
Yep.
He doesn't say a single word, just like this, and the guy's trying to like, it's LeVar Burton,
Yeah.
and he just tries to have
And
a
then
nice
eventually he
situation.
just is like crying.
Crying in the bathroom, singing the song. But I have a funny story
Yeah.
about my first experience with Daisies. That's sort of on the opposite end of the spectrum. It's nowhere near the sort of level of like excitement. But so my first time going to Daisies was going to be 2018 or 20. It was 2019,
Okay.
and I bought my ticket in 2018.
That was a good one, wasn't it?
It was. It was. Russ was the.
I didn't go.
Russ.
And I remember saying to my friends in September. No, in when was it? It was in September
It's in October
2019.
every
Yeah.
year.
So it was in March 2019. I remember saying on my group chat with my friends, like, okay, the only way I will ever sell my Daisies ticket is if Russ gets announced as a headliner.
That you will ever.
Lorcan
So-
starting P.
No, this was back when the whole SoundCloud rapper thing and the whole fuck Russ,
Yeah.
fuck J. Cole thing was. I don't really understand. I was just a clout
Wow.
chaser.
Same. We can relate.
Yeah,
I can,
exactly.
I
Yeah,
can-
haters.
Hater lifestyle. Totally.
And I remember waking up one morning, and it was with the people I was going to Daisies with, and they were like, "Hey, you should check Instagram, check what
Oh,
Daisy's posted." And I was like,
damn.
"No, like, what?" And then I checked, and he was like the first artist, and I was like, Russ headlining. And then I ended up going. So there's
How was the performance?
then I didn't go.
Oh.
Okay,
So I stuck to my word at least.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not a Russ fan. I've switched up on J. Cole. I really like J. Cole's music, but
Good.
Russ
That's very
just
good.
doesn't do it for me.
That's
And
good for
he's a
our
bit of a
relationship.
con.
It's very good.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it was back when I was still like you
Back
know
when it was
not in a
pretty
when I was not in a relationship and everything. It was
Ooh.
like dating around. Like if somebody was like, because you don't get somebody who says like, oh, Russ is okay. You get people who either worship Russ or hate
it's like
Russ,
Madonna,
right?
Love
To
or
me,
hate.
it was like an instant red flag if I was dating somebody and they were a Russ fan because I dated like 3 of them. I dated 3 girls, not
whack people.
And then I was like, oh, there's a weird correlation that they all love Russ, and I'm like,
This is the problem.
I'm sensing a pattern.
yes.
Damn.
Assuming Chrisley doesn't.
No.
It
Gold.
didn't strike me as a Russ.
No, it doesn't come across as well.
Hit the jackpot.
Someone told me that, like, I was actually in a meeting with I didn't actually know what her title is. Yeah, someone who like works with me on music, and she's basically like, you know who'd really love your music? Russ fans. And she's like, I don't mean that as an insult. She's like, hear me out.
She has to say
hear
that.
me out. And like, I'm not like super. I know that there's like beef with Russ, but I'm like not really tapped in. Guys, I'm very like ignorant to a lot of what goes on in pop culture. Like, it's actually embarrassing.
That's a good thing.
I'd like to think so, but then, you know, people were like pushing P, and I was like,
what does that
who's
mean?
P? I was like, what's going on? I don't understand. I don't want to push any P. I don't know who that is, but yeah.
No, thank you.
No thanks. I was like,
thank you.
Where's that on the piano?
Yeah. So yeah, it was I don't know. Who knows? That I think she was just trying to say that like he has really diehard, like people either really love him or like really hates him.
It's that ride or die.
Yeah.
Or, like,
I don't think anyone hates me though.
It's like religion.
Who for you? Who are you most excited about in the South African or the Cape Town music scene that you've
apart from
seen
yourself
come up recently?
Okay, so like not like an established. Okay.
Although you can shout out some established homies, but
nah.
But like I mean,
they got enough clout. No, I'm
someone
joking.
who's you know,
there can never be enough clout.
Yeah. Who are you excited about?
Let me think. There's a lot of cool kids in Cape Town. Like a lot of cool people doing really dope stuff. I would say K-Keed is super dope, man.
I was gonna say
Keed is like
shout out.
really dope, and also just I mean, I don't know, like I've met a lot of the artists that Keed rolls with, you know, Look at Abs, Tembi, all of those guys, like a lot of the Cape Town cats, like also just really cool people, you know, like beyond music. And I've been fortunate enough to like meet all these cool people, and like it's always been such great vibes. Like I haven't met someone and not instantly been like, oh, we could be best friends. Like, and that's been really great. And so I love Keed. Like what Keed's doing is awesome.
Shout out
She's
Keed.
just dope, you know, and she just has so much swag, man. It's just
that balaclava.
you can't not like
hot pink balaclava. I was like,
yo,
shit's going
that was
down.
crazy. And even like the I think it's Artists and Friends.
Art
Club and Friends, exactly. That whole like custom dungaree that they made for the boiler room thing.
Yeah.
That was so cool. Also, Key just has drip, man. I don't know. Key has
She got
sauce.
the drip, and the DJ is also really fucking
Super cool. Senora,
I believe so.
think.
Yeah,
I believe so.
That
Really cool.
Sounds
Yeah,
fun.
man.
check out K-Keed, people.
Check out
Get in.
K-Keed.
Key is super
involved.
dope, man.
Did you have a question? You look like it.
No.
How long have we been
I
recording?
also felt that. I felt like the.
Yeah, you guys both looked at
I think
me.
this might be a
Energy.
good place to.
It's like, okay, everyone, these guys have talked enough. Yo.
Yeah, what about
Like
you
two
guys?
heads just like turned to me.
What do
and like,
you
what are
do?
you about to say?
I mean, like as a question to wrap things up, unless anyone else has
Yeah.
pre-wrap up questions.
Do you want to wrap it up?
Oh god.
Oh yeah, Brad, spit some bars.
Nobody wants that. Trust me.
We want that.
No, you don't.
You don't know what we want.
Yeah, you don't know what you want.
Well, whatever you want, I can't deliver that. So I wish I could.
You know, it would be
Fair.
actually quite fun.
Oh.
Is Brad asks his final question. Lorcan, can you hold the beats?
I can try.
Hanna, are you comfortable doing a freestyle for an outro?
Guys, I'm so bad at freestyling. That's like it's like one of my fatal flaws as a rapper.
You know what we
Okay,
could do
Brad
to
has
close
to
it
do
out? Brad asks you a question, and then we all say one line, and the next person has to try
Oh
and
no!
rhyme it.
I was so happy with the pressure being on everybody else.
Hold on one second.
You've
My
been.
mom is phoning.
Aw.
Shout
Hi,
out
Mom.
Brad's mum.
Are you
Someone
here?
was calling me too. I
Hey,
might as
Mom.
well check.
Hey, my mum's outside.
It was my
Mom's
mom calling me
outside.
too.
Shout
Okay,
out
cool.
Susie.
My
We're
mom didn't
literally
call me.
busy finishing up a podcast.
We're
so
about to wrap.
just
pick
yeah,
me up, they're
I'll see you
drinking.
soon. So yeah, come to the studio and then ring the bell.
Mom, come get me. Oh, let's get your mum on the podcast. Let's get your mum on the podcast.
Yeah, you can ring the bell.
please.
Is she coming
Yeah,
on?
bye.
She's gonna come on the podcast. I'll let
That
her
would be
in.
so great.
She can
I
have
don't
my.
know. I don't know when she's gonna get here, but
You could have just put her on speaker.
I could have. I didn't know
wrap
what she
up
was gonna
question.
say though. So
You're like,
Mumsy's a bit unpredictable.
yeah, who knows? I mean, what is it that you want people to feel when they listen to your music?
good
one.
That's a good one.
Good one, Bradley.
I guess, what do I want to feel when I listen to music? I think, ultimately, I mean, that's a deep question, man. It's hard. That's a tough. I'm just like saying lots of like lots of words.
Some emotions.
Or like,
just
what
like,
is
You want to?
happiness,
or like
sadness.
to flip it? Like, what do you
do
you
you
feel
feel?
overwhelmingly as? It's a harder.
No, but
question
what
to
does
phrase,
your make
but
you?
what
Make,
does your
what does
music make you
you
feel?
feel?
It doesn't have to be all of it. It can be recent stuff. Because
Okay, cool. I can tell you what I mean, lately I've been doing this thing where I've been listening to like, I've been thinking about what I like about different artists and even like peers and stuff. And I'm like, what about them do I want like my art to be like? You know what I mean? Like, what about your music? And I think some of the things are like, I want people to feel confident. You know, like when you're rapping a song, you're singing a song, you just feel like you are the baddest like of all time. But ultimately, I guess it might sound cliche, but people like relatability is important to me. And I feel like I speak so much. I'm not very good at abstract writing. I'm very like direct and like I'm like, this is literally like, if I said the cup was blue, guys. It's not a metaphor.
It's not about the ocean. It's not about my tears.
Colors and
Yeah.
emotions.
And I think, I mean, what I've noticed from like my interactions with people is just like, yeah, you know, talking about stuff that's just happening and just hoping that, you know, people relate to it. And it's crazy how you think that like a personal experience would be so like far away from everyone else because you're like, it's so personal and it's just me. But I've noticed that that's the content people find the most relatable. And like when I try to like generalize, people are just like, okay, I guess. So yeah, I just want them to feel good about themselves. That's what I want to feel when I'm listening to music. I want to feel good about myself. I want to feel like I can walk down the street like I'm in a music video and like I really feel like I am in a music video because that's how the music is making me feel. It makes me feel good. Yeah, because, you know, life is hard.
What an answer.
Yeah, that's a very, very, very good answer.
Excellent way to wrap things up.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you for listening
or
watching. Shout out to our audio listeners.
For being on the pod with us.
Thank you for having me.
appreciate it.
Not yet.
We'll definitely,
No, say it.
We'll definitely do another one and get into more depth.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
I wanted to do a little like each do a live.
Oh yeah,
thing.
no, let's do that. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Because it probably won't last.
It's a while
You've been
now.
listening to the CAYACast.
Oh no, you didn't say you had to do it with a flow. Oh,
Or you don't
God.
have to. You can say it like spoken or slam poetry. You've been listening to the CAYACast. That doesn't rhyme.
It's been a real blast.
Nice.
Ooh.
Wow, we're not even going to make it round.
No pressure.
Who's on the CAYACast?
I can't. Who's on
You're
the CAYACast?
listening to the CAYACast. It's been a real blast.
Don't be an ass.
I was gonna say something about, but
Just
at long
like,
but
subscribe.
finally
And
we're
if
at
we've
the
come
end
to the
at long
end-
last.
So you've been listening to the CAYACast. It's been a blast.
This
We're
is such
finally at the
bad
end
bars.
at long last.
What was yours? Finally at the end, at long last.
Yeah, that was it.
We've had a couple friends come past.
Nice.
Mm.
And I hope you didn't come too fast.
Oh, that's a great way to end.
Lorcan's
intro.
message to himself.
Oh God! But now
That's a good one for the people out there.
like and subscribe and do all
Like and
those things.
subscribe.
Absolutely.
And follow Hannah
Share,
and follow
follow,
Kaya
run
and
it
you know the
up,
Rated
drill.
on audio
clap.
platforms as well.
I think
Absolutely.
my mum is here, so I'm gonna let her in.
She
Thank
can
you so
come do
much
the
for
intro.
watching.
She can come
Goodbye.
do the intro. No, we got to do it. She can come do the intro.
Hello, are you here?
Well,
And mine?
That is strong.
Oh, I got mine.
I'm also a lightweight though, so it's don't
Oh,
listen
so
to
it's
me.
gonna get a lot more fun as we keep going.
I suppose. Yeah, I'm a lightweight
Oh, I got the cucumber.
in my brain,
Yeah.
but then I never get drunk and I drink so much. So I'm just like,
I think actually what we're gonna do is
I don't know. I think I'm willing myself out of getting drunk, but like on a biological level, I'm actually
Oh, yeah.
a lightweight.
So I'm in charge of the GNT. Am I in charge of the GNT?
This is my one idiot.
Aww.
It was actually my brother's idiot, and then my brother moved to the UK.
How big is that cat?
My Uber driver picked me up yesterday and was like, is that cat pregnant? I was like, no, he's just fat. And he saw him from like in the driveway. I was
It's like there's a small jaguar. It's like there's a small jaguar at your home. Do you know this?
Gosh. I've got a GNT.
I'll have some GNT. Why not? Fuck it. You know, I'm already hanging, so might as well go all the way.
It's definitely like pre-mixed for an event.
What are the chances that I'm gonna go out again tonight now that I'm already in town?
Oh wow.
I don't know.
Come to?
It's K Dollar's birthday.
Oh, I haven't seen K Dollars in a long time.
Well, it's his birthday party.
Do we have a cushion? Also,
No, I don't
should
think we
start
have the
making our
budget for
CAYACast guests wear the hat.
I'd love that, but also
But also headphones.
my charm is my
true.
hair. So
Fair enough.
Okay, can everyone hear me?
I think it's
Yes.
actually
Can I hear me?
beneficial for me to not
I
wear
can hear you.
headphones.
Can you hear me?
I think
Okay.
so.
Because if I hear my own voice, I speak way too much.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But I'm keeping my headphones on because I like how I look with headphones and it sounds cool.
I don't even know how I look with these headphones on.
Good.
You can no,
Well,
don't.
Is that not something that I should like?
No,
We should.
well, here you can if you want to see. I can just
Take a selfie.
podcast things.
I'm gonna have headphone here after this.
Oh, did you see how you look?
Yeah.
Lorcan was just taking a selfie.
I was just
So-
clout.
Hannah, we record the intro at the end.
Okay,
because
cool.